Hello, this is just a video on modifier tips, things you can do to push your shapes in your geometry only using modifiers with very little information. So we just have just these edges, and we're going through and just adding a ton of modifiers, as you can see over here. So I guess if you don't want to watch the process, this is kind of the general approach, I guess. But let's go ahead and make something and go through all these things. So we just make a shape like this, essentially, and all you got to do is just take a plane, delete only faces, go to top view. You can control right click to add a bunch of things. Select an edge and control R to add more. F to fill, all that stuff. So anyway, once you got your shape, we'll just take this back, and I'm assuming you already have a good understanding of Blender. I'm not going to go through like all the hotkeys and stuff, but so first thing, if we want to get some thickness on this, we can just first we create. What do? We do a screw. That's it, and we turn this down to 0. Now you can't see anything, but if we turn the extrusion, or we screw up, you see we're making some pretty nasty geometry. Turn the steps down. If we're just going to wireframe, we're seeing all this, so we just turn that down to 1. And yep, that looks all good there. So after we do that, let's add some thickness to it. If we go over to our solidify modifier, and we crank this up like so. See, it's not very kind to us, but if we change the mode from simple to complex, and we change the thickness mode to even, I think, and change the offset to 0, so this is telling us like which side of the vertices is it going to be generating. There it is. So we want that right in the middle, and we get a pretty good result. You can change this and see all the different results that it gives, but this should be good enough for us. Now with that done, we want to basically decimate this so that we're not getting all this extra information. We'll add any in if we have to. So we're just keeping it clean. So I'm just going to collapse that, and what am I? Decimate. And then under decimate, we just click planar, and then it will clear all that up. And we may not like the results of what planar is giving us, but we can control that a little bit more later if we need, and we'll probably run into some issues. So okay, next, what else can we do? So if we want to get things like this, where we're like beveling it and stuff, that's really fun to do. If we just, I don't know, what I did on this other example is I just took these faces. It's actually easier to work going the other way, so there we go. So now the vertices are on top. If I just select all those and Shift D, right click P, selection, and now I just get rid of all the modifiers and hit F. There we are. So now we have this shape, and we'll just extrude down. So this is going to be our Boolean. Maybe I'll just select these and Alt S, scale those in a bit. Cool. Alright, so I'm going to Boolean this in, and it'll make sense what I'm doing very soon. So I'm just going to use the Bool tool. That's just an add-on built into Blender, but just use brush Boolean. And that should add just a regular Boolean here. So I'm just going to hit fast. I find fast is generally good, but anyway. So now that we have this, we can play around with the order of these things. Maybe I'll put the decimate after the Boolean. Oh no, we can't do that actually. We'll see why. So now we want to just like, we can bevel, you know, if we just took this and beveled it, that won't give us like a ton of modularity. But we can take this, add a bevel modifier on here, and set the limit method to weight. And then if we go on here, because we're booleaning this out, it's also taking into account like the vertex data, the edge data, all that stuff. So if we just select this edge and up here to item, change the bevel weight up to 1, we can see they added a bevel there. If we turn this up, we're getting a problem because of this vertex, but we can control R over here as well. There we go. Like, so what's going on is it's just hitting this edge that's already here. So let me turn this off, the bevel. So we're getting that right there. And we basically just need to tell it to just, or tell the geometry to calculate differently so it gets rid of this edge. So when I put a vertex here and a vertex here, like it's generating these two extra lines there. Maybe I'll do this because it'll be easy to see. Or I don't know. I guess that's fine. But now it gets rid of that and it calculates the decimation a little differently. So we can put that on there. And now we can just up the amount of vertices. And if we want more, we'll just go into our Boolean object and turn the bevel weight to 1 again. And clamp overlap must be on, so let's turn that off. Go to geometry, clamp overlap, turn that off. There we go. And we can see we're getting something down here too. So add that there and add this here. There we go. That should be cleaner. We're also getting something there as well. There's only so much you can do, and you know, we're seeing the limitations of this method, but it's fun. You can still push it pretty far if you know what you're doing. So let's just say that's good enough for us. After that, what we can do is, add another. We'll basically just bevel it off. Turn off clamp overlap. Turn this way down. And want to shade smooth. Turn off normals, auto smooth, and turn it to like 60. We're just gonna put a weighted normal modifier on. The reason this is sharp right here is because our Boolean is also has sharp edge data. So just select everything, right click, and shade smooth. You could do that in object mode too. So now with all that, just turn this back on. Go down to, or maybe I'll do this after. Let's just put the normal weighted normal modifier on now. And if we wanted more control, or you know, sometimes the weighted normal modifier on its own it doesn't calculate the best. I have videos on this, but if we just check face influence and keep sharp, that's just gonna listen to where we have sharp edges and where we have a face that has a strong weighted normal influence or a weak one, and that's controlled by the bevel modifier. So we just go down to shading and go to face strength affected, which will give strengths to the affected faces of the bevel modifier. And you can see that already cleaned this up. So I don't know, you can kind of see it here, this line, and I wonder if we'd be able to see it like this. So yeah, you can see that jagged line there, but that really cleans things up. So I always suggest you do this and not just pull these weights up to the top, though that could fix it. Look at that, it does. Anyway, I like to use this. So let's change that back to something less wacky. We can change, you know, we don't want it to pinch there, so we can do like, on here we can put the profile or geometry, miter outer arc, and then we can just up this amount like that. And yeah, so yeah, this is just something fun to do. You could also turn this down to like 0.5. So you have one bigger than the other. Whoa, dude. Right here. There we are. Yeah. We could also just put this back to one segment and just have those, you know, be diagonal lines. That works. Whatever you're going for, really. But yeah, there's a whole ton of freedom with this. It's pretty fun. That's obviously not going to be good, but anyway. I will do this sometimes if I'm like making like a floor plan or something. Like if I'm just making the walls, I can just put the vertices down where I need it, and just let the modifiers do the rest of the work, and it's super easy to work with. But anyway, yeah, just some fun stuff, I guess. Maybe this isn't new to a lot of people, but maybe one last thing is using percent is a really cool thing. So changing the width type to percent and changing this to 100 doesn't look great right now. Let's turn this to 10. I think we're having problems because of how this is decimating, but if we just, in our Boolean object, if we just add that here, so it's putting this here because you know, when you have a bevel at like its max, it's also like it's got this point and it's dragging it all the way out, and that's what it's doing here. So it's taking this edge and it's going like, it's beveling from here clear till there. So it's got double vertices there. So you'd probably want to stick on a weld modifier about there. There you go, and that'll fix that. What else? What else? What else? I don't know. I'm just really playing with this, and I think that's the best way to learn. Just play around with it, push it, add things onto it. But this is super modular. Modular, bro. Wow, we're getting some fun stuff there. That's probably the decimate modifier, maybe. Yeah. So, as you can see, it has its limitations, but maybe there's some things in the decimate modifier that you can change. Maybe it won't affect it as much. I don't know. That's pretty bad, but remember, you can always change the flow with just adding extra points and things. Yeah, so there we go. Anyway, bit finicky at times, I guess, with this whole thing, but there's a lot you can still do with it. It's really fun. But anyway, yeah, just fun times, explore, and hope this kind of gave you an insight to, I don't know, extra options, I guess. So thanks for watching, and consider liking and commenting and all that fun YouTube stuff. See you later.